BetUS, America's favorite sportsbook and casino. Live betting and racebook. We're celebrating 30 years with a historic offer. A 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits. Plus 10% gambler's insurance. Get started today. BetUS, where the game begins.
All right, what's happening, everyone? So we're back. Last week, UFC 312, Sean Strickland took on DDP. And I'm not going to lie, that was one of our, not the greatest picks. We were off. I mean, you can't always hit, obviously, right? I think we hit 100% on 3 out of the last 7 cards or whatever it was. And, some cards you're going to have like this where we're going to go whatever it was, 60% or whatever it may have been. And, it's the way it goes sometimes. It's literally impossible to go 100% every single card. It's literally impossible. But to me, I went back and I watched the fight a few times, and a lot of people are trying to give Sean Strickland excuses. He may have his staff. Now, I don't know if he had staff or not, but that's not an excuse, because if you still took the fight at the end of the day. So whether he had staff or not, that's no excuse. To me, it looked like he just didn't do the homework. I feel like Dricus du Plessis just watched more tape than Sean Strickland. I really feel like he did his homework, and I feel like Sean Strickland probably just went in there sparring every day and training. Like, it is what it is, just another day in the office, and he just goes in there, spars, does his thing, which is fine. But against a guy like DDP, to me, I feel like DDP really watched a lot of footage on Sean Strickland, and to me, I don't think Sean Strickland watched much on DDP. That's the way I sort of seen the fight go down, because I knew it was going to be competitive, right? If watching the first fight, I thought, and it wasn't, DDP shut him out, but before the fight, I thought it was going to be competitive, because the first fight was very competitive, and their skill sets are very close, right? Like, DDP's not going to go in there and finish Sean Strickland in the first round. It's not happening, and Sean Strickland's not going to do that with DDP. Like, it's going to be a competitive fight. I just think he just did his homework like a professional, and Sean Strickland did not. And that was for the main. The co-main, even worse. Tatiana Suarez, that first round, I was like, great. This girl, right off the bat, I thought that's exactly what she was going to do. Get her down, get the takedown. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was all the time off. This girl's dealing with tons of injuries, fighting cancer. And maybe Weili was just more active. To me, it seemed like Tatiana gassed a little. Like, that first round, she came in there, she got the takedown, did great. She went for, I forgot what it was. And she ended up on her back at the last minute of the first round, which is fine. But she still won the first. I had her winning the first because she had more top control time. And then, I don't know what it was. I feel like she gassed or something. Like, she just could not get the takedown, and she kept going for the same takedown. She wasn't mixing it up, chain wrestling, none of that. Weili's the real deal. And then before that was a fight we did pick, Taliesin Teixeira, the guy 6'7" monster. I was telling you guys to look out for that guy. He's an absolute freak of nature. He's going to be a handful for a lot of people. That's a guy they're going to try to shoot right in there after a few more wins, because the depth isn't there in the heavyweight division. So if you're a guy like Taliesin Teixeira, undefeated or whatever, you go in there, you get a couple quick knockouts, like, they're going to throw you in there with the Aspinalls and, the top guys. And then you got this weekend, Gregory Rodrigues taking on Jared Cannonier. I don't like this fight, I'm not going to lie. The card is okay. I'm not going to lie. It's a pretty decent card. And I think Gregory Jared would be a great co-main event. I don't think this fight should be the main event. I don't know what it is, but Jared Cannonier's coming off 2 straight losses. He's 40 years old. You got a 40-year-old coming off 2 straight losses, and he's the best you guys got for a main event? Like that, I find that hard to believe, to be honest. Maybe the UFC knows better than I do, obviously, so maybe they know something I don't. Maybe Jared brings a lot of eyeballs. I don't know. Gregory, I could see he's a very exciting guy, and this is going to be an exciting fight. Don't get me wrong. Both guys like to stand and exchange. It's going to be an exciting fight. Just in my opinion, it isn't main event worthy because Jared Cannonier and Gregory Rodrigues aren't really in the title picture, or they're not even really close anymore. You know what I mean? So we'll see, though. Maybe Gregory gets a couple wins and gets in there, but in my opinion, Jared's out of that picture. So let's break it down. The thing with Jared, 40 years old, you're coming off 2 straight losses. That Imavov one was really bad. He took a lot of damage in that one. And now you're fighting Gregory, the Robocop Rodrigues. The guy's got an iron head, and he literally loves to just stand in there, trade shots, decent ground game as well, very good jiu-jitsu. Won some big jiu-jitsu tournaments, and he's a deadly striker coming off 3 straight wins. So a lot of momentum, and 2 of those were finishes. So Gregory Rodrigues has got the momentum. He's got the age advantage. So I think this is his fight to win. Now, that being said, could Jared Cannonier come in here and just completely knock out Gregory? He could, because Gregory Rodrigues, he's beating decent guys, but not on the level of a Jared Cannonier. Like, Jared Cannonier just 2 years ago beat Sean Strickland. Or 3 years ago, sorry. Yeah, 2.5 years ago beat Sean Strickland. So, but that being said, he's getting older, right? 40 years old. It's tough now to be at the top. He's taking some damage, especially in that Imavov fight. He took some damage in that fight. So that's why I'm going to go with Gregory. But yeah, don't be surprised if Jared comes in there and completely destroys Gregory. Like I said with the co-main on the main on Strickland too. Like, the reason I was taking Strickland, I said it in the video. The main reason I was taking Strickland was because of the odds. The odds were so favored towards DDP that I was like, man, I watched that first fight a few times. I was like, this is a competitive fight. If it goes anything like this, like, why wouldn't you go with Sean Strickland? So obviously I was wrong. So we got the co-main Calvin Kattar taking on Youssef Zalal. Calvin Kattar plus 325. That is crazy. That is crazy, because I'll tell you right now, Aljamain Sterling, his last fight, he beat Calvin Kattar, but Aljamain Sterling is a very strong grappler. Probably one of the strongest in that division. Lost to Arnold Allen before that knee injury. And then the fight before that, he lost a split decision to Josh Emmett. And that was a fight a lot of people thought Calvin Kattar won. A lot of people thought Calvin Kattar beat Josh Emmett. But yeah, I get it. He's coming off 3 straight losses. And Youssef Zalal is good. And he's been killing it lately, man. He's on a nice long win streak. He's definitely got the... Yeah, he's got 6 wins in a row. The Moroccan Devil. I mean, clearly he's a huge favorite for a reason. I think they're counting out Calvin Kattar because the guy Youssef Zalal's fighting aren't on the same level as Calvin Kattar's fighting. Calvin Kattar's in there with the Arnold Allens, the Josh Emmets, the Aljamain Sterlings. He's in there with the top guys in that division, the Max Holloways. Youssef Zalal hasn't fought those guys yet. So yeah, he's on a 6-fight win streak, killing it. And he's got this momentum. His major big win was over Jack Shore. I think Youssef Zalal can get this one done. So I'll go with Youssef. He is a huge favorite. I'll go with Youssef Zalal on this one, but in no means do I feel Calvin Kattar should be plus 325. Now, this one seems more fitting of a huge favorite. Edmund Shabazian taking on Dylan Budka. This one should probably be minus 400. Edmund Shabazian, he's a guy who had a lot of hype behind him, mostly because of Ronda Rousey. He was like a kid when she was sort of at the top in her prime and super famous at the time. And Calvin Kattar was like maybe 15 years old, 14, 15, and used to train with her. He was really good, and he's one of these guys who, like, in the gym, you hear stories like how good he is in the gym, like the guy's a sniper. He hasn't been able to really come into the UFC and live up to the hype, so to speak. He's had some good wins, but he's also had some really bad losses as well, and that I give sort of because I feel the UFC, because he had such a big name, they sort of pushed him a little quicker than they should have. And that was the issue. Like, he was 10-0, I believe, right? 10-0, coming off a big win over Brad Tavares. So about 6 years ago, he was 10-0, fought Brad Tavares, head kicked Brad Tavares in the left head kick first round, and it was like, whoa, this guy's the real deal. And then they put him up against a wrestler his next fight in Derek Brunson, and Derek Brunson crushed him. And then he was never really the same after that fight. Jack Hermanson then beat him. Nasruddin Imavov beat him. So then he got 3 losses in a row. You know what I mean? Comes back, loses to Anthony Hernandez. You know, loses to Gerald Meerschaert his last fight. Like, he hasn't lived up to the hype. Fortunately for him, though, Dylan Budka is not that good compared to the guys Edmund Shabazian's fighting. And Dylan Budka just lost to Andre Petroski. And Andre Petroski has been not looking so good lately. So, yeah, I mean, this is Edmund Shabazian's, I think, easiest fight up to date. So I think Edmund Shabazian should clearly slice through Dylan Budka and finish him probably. So tune in for that massacre. Ishmael Bonfim. The Bonfim brothers are back, taking on Nazim Sadykhov. The Bonfim brothers. Maheta, the older one, he was killing it, you know. Fought Terrence McKinney, destroyed Terrence McKinney with one of the craziest flying knees in Brazil. He was looking real good. He was on a huge win streak, and then he fought the French Special Forces dude, Benoit Saint-Denis, and got absolutely destroyed by him. And his last fight, he fought Vince from Hell Pichel, looked pretty good, won a unanimous decision. Now he's taking on the Black Wolf, Nazim. And Nazim, on the other hand, is coming off a nice, pretty win over Terrence McKinney as well. So common opponent there. I'm going to go with Ishmael Bonfim on this one. I think 24 fights against a guy who's only got 11 fights. Just the experience for me is the reason why I'll be going with Ishmael Bonfim. This one, though, the guy with fewer fights is probably actually more experienced because of his jiu-jitsu pedigree. Adolfo Vieira, one of my favorites. Maybe one of the best black belts in jiu-jitsu there is in the UFC. Definitely on paper, that's for sure. Multiple-time world champion. He gets you on the ground. It is a game over for Andre Petroski. So I got to go with the jiu-jitsu guy on this one. I'm extremely biased here. And Adolfo Vieira should absolutely take Petroski down. And if he takes Petroski down, this fight is game over. Because if he gets you down, it's probably going to get arm triangle or something. Or rear naked choke. Because Adolfo Vieira is an absolute monster. So I'll go with our boy Adolfo Vieira. And the last fight I'm going to touch on here, Rafael Estevam. Yeah, he's 12-0, minus 400. Should get the victory here. But the last one is the Gabriel Bonfim taking on Chaos Williams. This one is crazy interesting because they're really counting out Chaos Williams here. Plus 185, so almost a 2-1 underdog. against Gabriel Bonfim. And Bonfim is good, don't get me wrong. But correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't he just get finished by Nicholas Dalby, who is age 40? Age 40, Nicholas Dalby beat Bonfim a year ago. And, Nicholas Dalby is a savage, don't get me wrong, but, I don't know, man. I think Chaos William might be a good underdog to bet here, because if you got finished by Nicholas Dalby, I assure you, when you get hit with by Chaos Williams, he hits hard, man. Chaos Williams is a destroyer. He hits really hard. He crumples people. And I'm going to go with Chaos Williams on this one. I'm going to go with the underdog. Plus 200. I think he might crumple Gabriel Bonfim. Hopefully Bonfim doesn't try to go in there and grapple. But Chaos Williams is strong, man. He's big, strong, hits hard. Yeah, I like Chaos Williams in this one. And, Chaos Williams, he's did pretty good in the UFC. He's only had 2 losses in the UFC. One was to Michel Pereira, who's an absolute monster and probably shouldn't even be fighting at welterweight. And, now he is up in weight. And another one, he lost a split decision to Randy Rude Boy Brown, which was a close fight. And, other than that, Chaos Williams has been really good. Lots of finishes, lots of knockouts. So I'll go with Chaos Williams on this one. I'll go with plus 200 underdog. If you guys need a place to BetUS, promo code Iceman. Let's make that money out.